Yes.
The 19th of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. How you doing?
Yes.
Okay. We are ready for Metzia. What do we get up to?
Yeah, but I can't even find that.
Mina Timra. That's what we're up to. Okay. Well, right. Okay. So this is going back on what Rav Papa said. Rav Papa said, Das Acheres Makne Oson Shiny. We don't need to have anybody standing by the field when we have Das Acheres Makne. We have a person, Ram Gamliel. He's the one who's causing Rav Yeshua to acquire, and as such, we don't need Rav Yeshua to be standing there by the field for Kinyan Chutzer, and right. The only time you need him standing there is if there's no Das Acheres, which is Makne. If it's just if Rabbi Yeshua would be trying to be Kona from Hefker, that's when you'd need him to be standing there. But like this is Matana Alimta, we said. A strong giving. Okay. So now the Gemara wants to know Minat Timra. Where do we know that this is so from? What's the source for this? What's the source of Das Acheres Makne? And we go to Alan to start the reading.
Alan, you're muted.
Okay, hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. 11b2, left-hand side.
Minat Timra, where do we know this from? What Rav Papa says.
That's 11B2, left-hand column, third paragraph.
You said right-hand column?
Left-hand column.
No, left-hand, okay. Having successfully offered one defense of Ula, the Gemara has addressed another. Papa Omar, where Papa says, Da'as Echras
Das Acheres. Das Acheres Makne.
He's just one line up. Just keep going, Alan.
Okay, Rav Papa?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, Rav Papa now proves this distinction. And from where do you find evidence to say this distinction? Just not, we've learned in our Mishnah, or son, or son, Achad, Hama, Si, or Bo. He saw people running after a find. He loved to hear our young pigeons that never flew, etc. The owner of the field acquires the ownerless articles by virtue of their presence in his field. Omar Rabbi Omar Rabbi Yachanor, in explanation of this Mishnah, Rabbi Yema said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan of Behu Sheruatz Risan Gidon, provided that the field owner can run after the animal and reach them before they leave his field. Rabbi Yehuda, whereupon Rabbi Yehuda inquired of the Torah, or what is the law in the case of a gift? Does the recipient have to be able to reach it before it leaves his field in order for his field to affect the acquisition? Come along, Rabbi Abba Bar Noah and Rabbi Bava accepted this distinction made by Rabbi Yerma, and the recipient acquires the animal as a gift. Al-P, Sarah, one on Mangian, even if he could not reach them, or he to run after them. My was the reason for this distinction. Law Mishum, the Rav Or Achara Osam. So it is not because it's different when another mind transfers the ownership of them. Or one more part. The Gemora objects Omar way Rav Sima Rav Papa. Rav Sima asked Rav Papa, Hooray, not got, but in the case of a bill of divorce, the Ash Ra Miko Osam, or another mind, example, the husband transfers ownership of it to his wife. The woman should not have to stand at a property side to acquire it. For Mar Allah, Vahu, Dor, Tsar, Bayat, O, Batsar, Hanador. Yet Ula ruled that a woman can be divorced by placing the bill of divorce in her house, a courtyard, provided that she is standing at the side of her house or at the side of her courtyard.
Okay. So we got some, looks like we got some work over here to do. Did we ever read the Rav Papa Omar? Maybe we should read Rav Papa Omar.
Yeah, we just read that.
No, I mean I'm sorry, in the Rashis.
Oh,
Thought we did, but we're going to find where. Let's see where it is. Papa Omar. Yeah, we did the Papa Omar.
We did that? Okay.
You want to go on again? I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Okay, so the next Rashi is Vahusha Ratzach Rehen.
The next verse is who writes after, so he's running after him. Who writes after him? There. Hatzvi. Hatzvi's like a deer.
Yeah.
Mahale goes. The Hagozlot. Those are like chicks, the young ones. Madadim, they're like measured. Matnitnim, you give them. The katani that you say, Zachta lo, that he merits them to him. So they was field. Kagon Shahi Yachol, because he can Larutz after him. He can run after them. Umagian, and he can arrive Kodum Shayitso Medo before he leaves from his field.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so Rabbi Yirmiyah said the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
But we couldn't a second ago.
Okay. So now I'm facing right in front. So the case that we're talking about is Rashi doesn't say about too much about this case. So we'll just try to explain it without Rashi. We're looking for a source for the din of Dasacheres Makne. So the case that we have is Ra'oson Ratzin Acher HaMetzia. We see
Don't scribble on that.
we see a lame deer, with gozlos and little chicks walking around. But Omar and the Balasada, he says, Zochsali Sadai, let my field acquire them. And the thing is over here is that the animals are not really able to move so well, and so they're basically trapped over there on the place where his field is. So like that, it's a good kinyan. And Rav Yirmiyah says, name Rav Yochanan, that is regarding to that case. V'hu sharatz achrehen umagion. This that we say that the owner is zocha is only where he is ratz achrehen, where the owner of the field is able to run and grab these animals before they would run away off of his field. But if before he would get there, they would be able to run away, so then not. And then Rabbi Yirmiyah asked the question, "B'matana heyach." What would be the din if a person owns that lame deer or owns these little chicks that are not able to fly away, and they're in the chutzer of Jew number 2? What's the din in that case? Heyach. Do we say that also in this case, he's got to be able to run after them and grab them before they run away? Or do we say that since here we're talking about a matana, it's not a sale, or rather it's not that it was a sale, but he was acquiring those animals from Hefker, and we said he's got to be able to run after it and get it. Maybe over here, as a matana, even if he would not be able to get them like that. He would also be zocha. So the Gemora says, Kiblu minei Rebbe Abba bar Kahana. Okay, so he's buying into that. He's agrees that there'll be a distinction. Even though he wouldn't be able to get them. And what's the reason? My time, or why would that be? Lav mishum d'tasacheres makna osan shiny. That's because that's the difference between acquiring it from Hefker and acquiring it from as a matana from the owner who wants you to acquire it. That's dasacheres makne. So it's we see a distinction in regard to this halacha. Okay. Okay, so that's the proof.
Can't hear you, Rabbi.
Yeah, I just said that's the proof that the Gemora adduces in support of Rav Papa for dasacheres makne. And now we're up to Amar Le Rav Shimi Le Rav Papa. Oh, it looks like somebody's got something to say to Rav Papa over here. Maybe he's going to ask a kasha. We'll see. Okay, so we go to Roy. Amar Le Rav Shimi.
Omer le Rav Shimi le Rav Papa. Rav Shimi asked Rav Papa, Hari gat git. But in the case of bill of divorce, Dedeas, Acheres, Makane, so where another mind, that is a husband in this case, transfers ownership of it to his wife, the woman should not have to stand at her property side to acquire it, puts in the art scroll. But Omar Ula Olay Vahu She'omer Medet Bitsad Bitsor or Bitsad Atsara. Yet Ula rules that a woman can be divorced by placing a bill of divorce in her house or courtyard, provided that she is standing at the side of her house or at the side of her courtyard. Gemora answers, Shane Gam De'ib Saya Ve'al Karachom. A bill of divorce is different because it is effective even against her will.
Okay. Okay, we got some Rashis. Lou, you want to do the Rashis?
Okay.
Which Rashi we up to here? Boy Rev Yirmiyah b'matana heyach.
Trying to find it. Boy. Boy, Rabbi Yirmiyah. Got it. The Matana Hayik. Rabbi Yirmiyah inquired, what if it's a gift? Im Hayu Tzaveh the
Tzvi, deer.
what?
That's a tzvi. Tzvi is a deer. And the gozlos are the chicks.
If it's a deer or chicks, shall Adam of a man, uh, uh, atid,
That's a chad, a man, one person.
echad, one person, behem betoch sadeh, and they are in the field of his friend, Venos nan ba'alehen, and he gives them to him, the Baal Sadeh, the owner of the field, the Matana, as a gift, Hayach Hadin, is it not the law, me Ba'inan, Vahu Sharats, Acharehem, Umagion, the E lo kana, Umatzi, Nosein, the Mihader, they, oh lo. So it's a deer or chicks that are in his field of one person, and they are a gift to the owner of the field. Is it not the law from that the one who Be'enon, what's Be'enon?
That we need.
That we need that he can run after them.
Right.
What's Magi'an?
That he'd not only run after them, and he'd be able to catch up to them and grab them.
And if not, no, then he doesn't acquire them. Look, honey, he doesn't acquire them.
Yeah.
And we find that it's given. What's Lamihader?
To be choser, to go back on his on the to return from committing himself to the deal, since it wasn't effective. So he can be choser. He can go back on the deal, and not go through with the sale.
Or not.
Right.
So we find Umatzi no saying the mehader. We find that it's given that he can return or not. I'm not sure what the or not means.
Can he do so? Can he so to speak get out of the deal, or can he not get out of the deal?
So Rashi's asking a question.
Yeah.
He's telling us that the Gemora is asking a question.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand how the Gemara is asking a question here. Let's see.
Okay, so we're talking about the Kenyan Chutzer in this field of the owner of the field, and we're talking about items that are on the field there. And so, do we have an automatic Kenyan Chutzer? It's simply because his these items are on his field that he acquires them. So we said that if they're being acquired from Hefker, there's no das acheres makna. There's nobody that's giving them to the owner of the field. So he has to be able to ratz acherehun umagin. Has to be able to run after them and catch up to them and grab them before they would get a chance to run away from off of his field. That's the if he's able to do that, so then we say it's a Kenyan. But if he's not able to do that, so it's not a Kenyan, even though they're on his field. On that, Rav Yirmiyah asked, would the din also be the same in the case of a matana? What's peculiar about a matana is that you have a person who it's not he's not acquiring these items from Hefker, but they're owned by someone, and he is giving the items to the owner of the field as matana. So how will the owner of the field do over here? Does he need to be that also the same din? He's got to be able to run after them and get them before they would run off, and only like that the matana will be effective. Or do we say that no, since there's a das acheres, there's a person who has das to be makne his items to the owner of this sodeh. So that's a case of das acheres makne, and therefore that will be a matana alimta. That'll be a strong giving of a matana, and even if these animals would be able to run away and evade being caught by the owner of the field before he catches up to them, even still, it would still be a good. It would still be they would be acquired at the time that they go onto his field. So
We can't hear you, Rabbi.
okay, so
That's matana.
that's the question that that's the question that the Gemora has. Is the case of matana going to require this condition of being able to ratz achrehen umagion, to be able to run after the animals and catch up to them and grab them? Or do we say that no, since it's being given as a matana by a das acheres makne, we don't need that tonight. We don't need that requirement of ratz akrehen umagin, that he runs after them and he's able to grab them. So it's a little strange, frankly, in the Gemora. It seemed like at that point the Gemora and this, especially the way that you picked up on the fact that Rashi is posing it as a question. We say that he needs to have that requirement here, or do we say that he doesn't need to have that requirement? It's a question. It's not a proof yet. We're asking a question. And right after that, for some reason, the Gemara says that V'kablamine Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana. He agreed. He accepted it. He accepted this distinction that Rabbi Yirmiyah said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. That what? Afopi Shiratzach Rehen ve'ein magin, even if he's going to run after and not be able to catch up to them, and they're going to be able to run off his property before he gets a hand on them. Nevertheless, he will be zochet. And the Gemara says, my timer, why does he agree? And the Gemara says, is it not because of the fact lav mishum de dasacheres makna also shiny? That makes all the difference. That here in the case of matana, you have the principle of dasacheres makna. So here you see a source for the principle of dasacheres makna. That's the Gemara's suggestion. That's why Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana was kiblu minei. They accepted this distinction that Rabbi Yirmiyah made.
I'm confused. It says b'matana chayach. What is the law in the case of a gift? With a question mark. And then Rashi comments on that, and we just said Rashi is saying it's a question. So then how can it then say Rabbi Bar Kahana accepted this point? It's not a point, it's a question. How can he accept it?
Let's take a look. Maybe the next Rashi will. There's a Rashi, Kabla Minei Rebbe Abba. Maybe Rashi will explain what's going on over here. We have time to read the Rashi? Yeah.
Yeah, we got time. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
La'an boye me Rebbe Yirmiyah disappear dak sheyesh cheluk bein matana lehefker ube matana af al pi. It is needed by Rebbe Yirmiyah that it's shapir. Shapir means it's appropriate. And I don't know what shak is.
Kibla lahak boyami Rebbe Yirmiyah, the shapir duck that he very well duck that he distinguished. He made a distinction. Sheyesh chiluk, that there is a distinction bein matana lehefker. Matana, yeah. So what Rashi is saying is like this. Rashi is saying that the mere the question itself that Reb Yirmiyah posed when he said, "What will be the din by matana?" He implied that there is a chiluk, that there is a distinction between the case of matana and the case where of hefker. That's why he's asking the question. So even though we're saying, oh yeah, he's asking the question, he's not saying that definitely that there is. He's saying I'm in doubt about the matter. Is there in fact a distinction or not? But I hear that it might be. There's a very reasonable possibility to say that there is. So on that, the Gemara comes back after that and says that Rav Abba Bar Kahana accepted that. What does it mean that he accepted it? Rashi says he accepted the fact that Rabbi Yirmiyah was very well justified in drawing a distinction between those two cases.
And what are the two cases?
The two cases are the case where it's not a matana, where the animals are hefker and they just came onto his field, or the case where they're being given b'matana.
Okay, I understand that, but I don't see how that works with the Rashi's words when it says Bain matana lehefker u'b'matana afal pi. That sounds like two different kinds of gifts.
No. The Rashi is now quoting the rest of the words of the Gemora. The Gemora is saying that look what the Gemara says. Kabla mine, Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana. He accepted this distinction. That what's the distinction? Afal gav, afal pi, sharatz achreihin ve'ein magin. Even though he would not be able to run after them and catch up to them, the owner would be zocha.
The owner would be socha, the owner of the field.
Yeah, the owner of the field would be zocha to these animals that are now on his field, even though he would not be able to fulfill this requirement that we said in the case of Hefker.
So there's two kinds of gifts. There's a gift that's hefker.
No. Hefker means there's nobody who owns it. It's not a gift.
But what does it mean, matana lehefker?
We're making a chilik between matana, the case of matana, and the case of hefker. We're making a distinction between those two different cases.
Okay. And then when it says ubimatana afapi, what does that mean?
Now Rashi is just quoting you the continuation of the Gemora, which the continuation of the Gemora reads that even though afapi even though if he runs after, he won't be able to catch up to the animals. The animals will be able to run away and evade him. Even that, so therefore, even in the case where the requirement that Tanai that we said in the case of Hefker was not fulfilled, nevertheless, in the case of Matana, we don't need it to be fulfilled. There'll be a kinyan regardless.
So what it's saying then is that Reb Abba Bar Kahana is agreeing that there's a significant difference between if it comes from hefker, if it comes, the animals just wander in there on their own, versus they're put there by somebody as a gift.
Yeah.
And therefore, even in that case, the latter case, even if he can't run after them, he acquires them.
Right.
And the reason is because there's a difference when there's a mind involved in the transferring of the ownership.
Right.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that I was pointing out is that the Gemara is a little bit strange because the Gemara asked the question, is there a distinction or not? And then the Gemara just says right away that he accepted it. What do you mean? What did he accept? We didn't prove anything. but okay, that's he accepted it. He accepted there is a distinction, and the Gemara is now suggesting, isn't that a distinction based upon the fact that there is a principle of das acheres makta, and that's what accounts for the for the distinction, and that's why he accepted it.
Well, wait a second, though. Isn't there another point that he accepted, which is that in the case of the gift, he acquires it even if he can't run after it?
Yeah, that's why. That's the reason why he's agreeing that there will be a distinction in the din, that you don't need that he's able to run after it and get the animal. And the Gemora is suggesting my timer. What's the reason why he's agreeing over here? And the Gemora is suggesting Lav Mishum. Is it not because of the din of Rav Papa that Das Acheres Makna shiny? That when you have a Das Acheres Makna, as you do in the case of a matana, so then that'll be shiny. That'll be a different din, and you won't need to have this requirement.
Got it.
Just like you don't need the requirement over here of being able to run after the animal and get it. So too, the Gemara is going to say you don't need the requirement of Ula, that the owner's got to be there, Omid B'tzad Sedeu, and otherwise it's not a Chotzer Mitzvah, it won't be Kona. Okay. Not time. Joyach, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
All the best.
Thank you.
Great
Blue,
day.
4 o'clock.
Alan and
Blue,
Yeah.
4.
350, Alan.
What's that?
350. I'll pick you up.
Okay, good. Thank you.